Hey, Andrew. That's all right. Yeah, Saturday night, and it's been great. Played a couple practice rounds. Golf course seems like it's in good shape. Hopefully we can dodge some of this weather. So it's been a good start of the week. Yeah, I think just getting used to the atmosphere. Obviously, this is my second away event in this President's Cup, so getting used to that atmosphere, I think, takes a little time. The first time I experienced it in Melbourne, it was unlike anything I'd seen in golf, and so it's fun to do it. It's fun to be in front of an energetic fan base, and I'm sure we'll get that this week. Hi, Doug. Good, how are you? Yeah? You've got a few. They definitely have their own feel, but I would say from the U.S. side, it feels similar. A lot of times it's same captains or assistant captains and a lot of the same players. So, I think it's great that we get all the best U.S. guys together for a team match every year. I think everyone's unique. Some of the players are the same, but we have different captain and some different assistant captains this year, and a couple different players this year. So every team event has a little different feel, just because of the collection of guys. But I'm really excited to have a week with these guys. I think we have a great team. I haven't noticed that so much. I feel like the guys crack plenty of jokes and have a bunch of fun in both the Ryder Cup and President's Cup, Monday through Wednesday. And then, I think Ryder Cup maybe is a little different just because there's so much build-up, and then it's 36-36. And so this week's a little different format and 4 days of competition versus 3. I don't know if I prefer either one. Yeah, I don't. They're.
One's relentless, and the other one kind of takes a couple days, and all of a sudden, then you're off to the races. That's one of the best day of practice.
Yeah, I like them both. I like in the President's Cup format that we have 10 guys playing each session, and so I think that makes it, even more of a team event. So you can't really hide guys. Yeah. I'm hoping it's on course. Yeah, try and win as many points as I can. That's the name of the game. And really that's where all my attention goes to in a week like this, is preparing as best I can so I can represent our guys and our country to the best of my ability. Leave most of the motivational speaking to the captain. Jim's very competitive, and he's got us fired up this week to put as many points on the board as we can. He's done a good job setting the tone, and so I think the rest of us will fall in line. Yeah, I like. I don't mind the environment. I like when the fans get into it, and I think it brings out, the best part of these events. And so we don't see that in golf all the time, where there's such passion rooting against you or for you. And so those are some of the best moments of the week. Yeah, put red on the board as soon as possible, and that usually deflates a lot of the noise out there. Hey. Yep. Right. Well, the transaction committee's taken really front and center with negotiations, and I'm not on that committee. So we get updates. Haven't had one in a little bit, but hope they're making good progress. And if it's the best possible future for the tour, then I'm supportive. I wasn't, but I just think when the tension is that high, and people are so rooting either for you or against you, it brings out the best in competitors, and so it's easier to focus. It's easier to get lost in your routine because there's so much pressure and there's so much anticipation about what's going to happen. Right. No, I think it's better and easier to play well when there's lots of crowds and when the emotion's high. Just fueled up if I hear anything negative in a week like this, and I think a lot of the guys get it and expect it, and that's part of the nature of this event, is that the home fans are rooting for their home team, and that's what makes it so special. I'm sure everyone's heard their fair share in these team events, yeah. That's okay. I hope so, yeah. It'll be important to put red up on the board early, especially in these team events, get some momentum rolling, and I think that gives guys confidence behind. So if you're in one of those first couple groups that's going out, especially on a Thursday or Friday when there's only one session, I think it's really key for momentum. Yeah, there's a little more pressure representing your country, representing your other teammates and captains, but I think that's part of the fun of this week, and everyone's feeling it, so you have to embrace it and do your best. I think it sets up great. It reminds me of, it's very much a northeast, old-school golf course, but with the Poana greens and most of them being back to front, it reminds me of some of the golf courses I grew up playing in Southern California. So I love the golf course. I think it's going to be a good test. Yeah, I think it'll be important to leave your golf ball in the right spots, especially coming into the greens. There's a lot of slope on these greens, mostly back to front, but there's little sections in each and every green for the most part. And so getting it in the right section, and then if the green speeds pick up, being below the hole, I think will be key to holing putts. Yeah.
Outside of golf, when I say the word Canada, give me 2 or 3 things that
Canadians? Cold. Cold, yeah. Green, or nature.
Have you guys tried some heat?
Have we tried what? We have not yet. No, we went to a great restaurant last night. Jim Furyk set us up at Gibby's, and we had a very, very good meal. Everyone was happy in the bus ride home. Good steak, good vegetables, potato. I loved it.
Do you know what poutine is? I'm curious.
It's fries, gravy, and some cheese.
I'm from almost here. So
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
California people know what poutine is. If you've heard of it.
Yeah, heard of it. I don't think I've ever tried it. I'm sure.
Hope you'll have it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Hey, how's it going? Yeah? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I've had a few role models in my life. My dad and my grandfather, for sure. And then when it comes to golf, I would say, John Cook and Fred Couples have become mentors for me. This is my first team event without Fred Couples being around. He's been at every one, and I think he's walked every one of my team matches since I started in Melbourne. So definitely those individuals. Yeah, I spent a lot of time playing golf with my dad and my grandfather growing up. and they definitely instilled in me certain values that they have, respect for the game and the integrity of the game, and how that carries over and transitions into just life, having character and being true to yourself. And so, spending so much time with them, they just became role models over time. It's a good question. I'm not sure when you start becoming the role model and stop looking up, to looking up to others. I think you're always striving to pick out the best qualities in others and then embody those. And hopefully if you do a good enough job of that along the way, people may want to emulate you. I'm not sure. I tend to still be looking up. I have a lot of friends that are older than me that I respect, and I think I've learned a lot from them and benefited a great deal from spending time with them. What's that? I think to be authentic, and I think to give back. I think the tournaments that I've helped put on with the SCPGA Junior Tour, trying to elevate junior golf in Southern California on a tour that I played growing up, has been really special to me. And seeing the kids and how happy they are to show up to the events, especially the season ender that we have at the club I grew up at, Virginia Country Club, has been really rewarding. And doing the clinics that I've done the last couple of years with those kids and answering questions and helping them along the way to be better individuals and better golfers has been really great.
When you talk about being authentic, have you ever been tempted to not or to try and fit in or try to be someone who wants to change all the way to be?
I think when you're younger, you have more of an inclination to act unauthentically to fit in. But as I've gotten older, I think I'm pretty authentically myself. You'd probably have to ask some of my friends, my closest friends. Hey, Bob. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The format is a little different. Being an extra day here and playing 10 in a session versus 8 in a session. So I think that strikes me as one of the biggest differences of this week versus Ryder Cup week. But in general, from our side, it's pretty similar. Well, it's a lot of the same captains. It's a lot of the same players. And so I think overall it's an advantage that we get a team event every year for the U.S. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think it's just small sample size, isolated week. I'd like to see how it plays out over the next decade. I think if you get momentum early as a favorite, it can be demoralizing. Especially if you put a bunch of red up on the board in the first session or early in the first session. And so I think that's really an emphasis for this team, is to get off to a fast start and put red on the board, especially when you're at an away event. And I've seen that in Montreal, or I've seen that in Australia. And, I think that'll be key this week.
What are the benefits of being an underdog?
Yeah, I think I'd rather be the favorite. But lack of expectation. is usually a benefit for an underdog, or can be. Yeah. Sure. I think it's a little of both. Going back to Australia, Xander and I weren't really friends before that week. And so we clicked that week and became friends, fast friends, and then we played all 4 team sessions together that week. And we've played subsequently in team events together and had success. So I think that's what's special about these weeks, is that most every other week of the year we're competitors, but this week we're a team. And so we learn more about each other in a different way, and these team events give us the opportunity to do that. What's that? I don't think so. Fred Couples put that Xander and I pairing together pretty early in the week, and that was just going to be the pairing. Not so much with team pairings. We have the stats guys that are definitely in the captain's ears, and the captains, that's their biggest job this week, I would say. So the players, I would say, I think I would play well with this guy, or this guy plays a ball that's similar to mine, and so it's good for the captains to know that. But I trust them to make good decisions for us. Okay. I'm not sure. I think, first and foremost, I think as a golfer and a competitor. And so my favorite thing about these weeks is the competitive nature of it and what it brings out in me. I don't notice it until I'm out there doing it. And so the moments that match play creates, and playing for a team and playing for the United States makes, it just brings out the best in me, and I love these weeks. I just noticed that I'm fired up way more than usual, and I think it's because playing on a team makes you care more about the outcome. Yeah, I'm very competitive, so many moons ago, I played baseball and basketball until I got to high school. And, I can remember being very little, 5, 6 years old, and desperately wanting to win any baseball or basketball game and being fired up about it. Yep. Yeah, we got to play 18 holes on Sunday, and I think whenever you come to a golf course like this, it's important to learn the golf course, and so it's second nature by the time tournament play rolls around. And that extra day, I think, is going to be great as far as course knowledge and getting comfortable with the golf course. Could you say that again? I got distracted. Yeah, I think it'd be great. I think when we come to these golf courses, a lot of times they're set up different. This one, a lot of guys haven't seen, but some others guys have seen before. But when these team events come around, they set them up and tweak them just a little bit. So an extra day learning the golf course, I think, is good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think having that team pulling for you and knowing that the other guys are watching and they have interest in the match that you're playing just elevates the pressure when you're out there. And so knowing that Xander or Colin or Scotty are watching the match and they're all there and they're living and dying with every shot, every putt. That just adds to the excitement, and I love it.
How do you feel personally either win or loss emotionally, whether it's in the tournament or a team event?
Higher or lower than usual, depending on the outcome. What's that?
Would you find it's like slightly easier to accept individual?
It doesn't feel as heavy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, winning and losing, always feels great or feels horrible. But when you have a team and it could mean the difference between the team winning and the team losing, I think it's heightened a little bit. Yeah. I have felt like that. Whenever you lose a match, I'm sure there's a component of that. And on the other side, when you win a match, you feel like you did a solid for your guys. What's up? Yeah, I had like some flu-like stuff at the beginning of the week, but felt better towards the end. I wouldn't say panic, but just relaying that to the captains so they can make the best decision, I think, is important. And I did that. I think we were expecting for me to play 36 the first day and ended up playing 36 the second day. So I think, in weeks like this, it's important to be transparent so the captains can make their best decisions.
After Rome, obviously, guys like us spend 12 days and weeks dissecting. As players, do you guys do that as well? When you're in the chats where you're talking about what worked, what didn't work?
Yep.
How does that work?
We get feedback, and I can definitely see that everyone from the captains, staff, and players are all trying to turn over every stone to compete and play our best in these team weeks. It's it's interesting because we only get a team event once a year, and they're always in different locations, and a lot of times it has different captains or different players. So there's not a lot of, I shouldn't say consistency, there is, but it's not the same people each and every time in the same place. So feedback it may apply one week, but it may not apply the next week, and they're a year apart. So I think the captains have done a really good job of listening to the guys, and the guys have done a good job of communicating with the captains so they can make the best decisions. And then I think everyone overthinks it and overanalyzes it. We got to go out and play good golf and make a lot of birdies. Right.
I guess is it incumbent upon the players then to just, this is the direction we should go, here's why, and all.
Yeah, I think it's important for the players and captains to have an open relationship, and that's definitely been the case since I've been a part of these team events. And Jim this week has done a great job communicating his expectations for when to be where, and communicating the pairings to us so we're not surprised. And so I think he's done a really great job this week setting the tone and really putting an emphasis on us playing our best. And so we couldn't ask anything more from him. Hey. My favorite thing about America, I don't know if this answers your question, but whenever I leave the country and I come back, I am so glad to be back in America. It is. I love it. Depends on if you've played with them a lot before or not, but I would say learning how they are when the pressure's highest and learning when to talk or when not to talk or what to say, how they respond, I think is a little bit of it. And so the better you get to know that person throughout the week, the better equipped you should be to be able to play with them.
Learn how to be a good partner, or is that something that just comes naturally?
I think so, and I think some people are better or worse suited for other guys based on their personality. Xander's been a great partner for me. He knows what to say to get me going or calm me down. Doesn't need to do a lot of calm me down stuff usually. But, we have a good time out there, and we're competitive, but we keep it light. And I think by now we know each other so well and know each other's games so well that it just feels like second nature. He's too good. I'm not sure. I mean, he's had good pairings with Strick. He has good records, winning records, I think, in both Ryder Cups and President's Cups. So if you have winning records in this thing, then you're doing well. So I didn't get the opportunity, but I would have loved to have played with Tiger. I mean, anytime you have the best player of a generation on your team, I think it's a good pairing. All right, thank you. Yeah.